Hey, what's up, guys? Scott here, back once more with another video. Well, today is finally the day. I'm going to review Superman, James Gunn's Superman, the new movie that came out a week ago. I've seen it twice now. I needed to see it twice to kind of gather my thoughts, to really be able to do a proper review, I think. So, I've seen it twice. I got some notes, so let's get started. Okay. So, right off the bat, this is a very good movie. I really like this movie, but I would say I even love this movie, but it does have some flaws to it. So, of course, I mean, hardly any movie is ever perfect, but this movie does have some noticeable flaws. So, let's start with the positives. The action, the characters are the action's great, the action sequences are great, the characters are very likable. The new cast of this new DC Universe thing is good. David Cornsweet as Superman, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, Ed Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, Isabella Mercedes Hawkgirl, Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, Anthony as Guy Gardner Green Lantern, and then Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpho. So this is kind of the main villain and heroes of the movie. I thought all the cast did awesome. They were all great in the roles. Mainly Superman, the new Superman, and the new Lois, and the new Lex, all killed it. I think all the actors did great in these roles for their first movies in this new universe. So, yeah, the acting was great, the cast was great, the action sequences were really exciting and fun to watch. The humor, I thought most of the humor landed. It didn't take away from the seriousness of what was going on. I felt the humor kind of flowed well with the movie because James Gunn does a lot of humor in his movies usually, but I think most of the humor landed. So yeah. So those are kind of the big positives I have. The movie does have in my opinion, one noticeable flaw. Really, one noticeable flaw that I think kind of is very prominent, and that is pacing, mainly pacing in a scattered plot. So, what I mean by that is there's a lot going on in this movie. Like this movie throws you right into the middle of the action. This movie, which I think it should, but this movie totally skips the origin story of Superman. Now there are references to it throughout the film, but you don't see him being sent from Krypton in the ship, to Earth, and then him being found by the Kents. No, this movie starts out with him 3 years into his career as Superman, and it throws you right into the action with him recovering from a fight with the Hammer of Baravia, who we later find out is Ultraman. But they don't waste any time with showing you the origin. Like nope, he's Superman. This is what's going on. So it throws you right in the middle of the action, which is good. But once the movie starts, there's so much going on. Like the movie feels very unfocused and doesn't flow well at times. Whereas with other superhero movies, including some James Gunn made, I'll just use this as an example. The first Guardians of the Galaxy movie that James Gunn directed, that movie flowed so well. It didn't rush the plot, but also didn't drag too much. And introduced you to all the Guardians: Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, Groot, and Mantis wasn't in that one. But just that first group of Guardians. But it took time to let you get to know each of the characters. You had your villain, their first main villain, Ronan. You spent time with him, getting to know the villain. The movie had a certain really good flow to it, all leading to this epic final battle, with the Guardians versus Ronan. That movie had a very solid flowing beginning, middle, and end. First, second, third act. This movie, Superman, on the other hand, it just hits you you have to really pay attention to what's going on. It doesn't give you time to slow down and process what's going on. It's at least most of the time, because it's boom, 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 boom. The story's flowing so fast. So I thought that was and that takes away from the time you get to know the characters really. I don't think that we spent enough time with the Justice Gang in this movie. Of course, I know this is supposed to be Superman's movie, but I would have liked to have seen more of the Justice Gang. Don't get me wrong, they're in the movie quite a bit, and they get some great moments. But I would have liked to have spent more time getting to know the Justice Gang. So that's that's the main flaw with the movie, is that it moves too fast, or is paced too fast at points, and doesn't really give you enough time to get to know the new characters, at least the supporting characters, I think. So, but that's really my only flaw with the movie, is that, pacing, and like one prominent example is, like, there's a part where I won't really go into too much detail, but part where Superman gets arrested, and then the next minute he's in this pocket universe, like just like that, and like we don't, so you don't really have time to process that, and then the next scene, all of a sudden Lois and Jimmy find out, hey, he's in a pocket universe, so it's like 1, 2, 3, like in the span of not even 10 minutes, like the movie has advanced that much, like, I would have liked to have seen the plot stretched out a bit more, not to the point of, like, in fact, I think even one of my John Campion, one of the YouTubers I watched that reviewed it, said the movie could have probably stand to have been maybe 10, 15 minutes longer to give you more time for the story to breathe a little bit. The story in this movie needed more time to breathe, but they condensed it into about 2 hours. I think, not to say they couldn't have made a movie in 2 hours, but I think the editing and stuff could have let the movie breathe a little more. But that aside, besides from some rushed pacing with the story, and not really getting enough time to process everything, overall, very fun movie. Like I said, the action sequences are great. The new cast, the new characters in the this new DC universe are very likable. The movie has heart and humor to it that works, at least most of the time. So I'm overall going to give the movie an 8.5 out of 10. It's like, besides some pacing issues that I had, very solid movie. I highly recommend it, and a great start to the new DC universe. So, I'm excited to see where Superman goes from here. We get introduced to Supergirl at the end of the movie, and her movie is the next one coming out next year. So kind of going that, and but before that, we've got Peacemaker season 2, and then the Green Lantern show, or called Lanterns, coming, I think, either later this year or early next year. So we got some stuff coming down the pipe from this new DC universe. So I'm excited to see what's happening with James Gunn. So with his plan for this new universe. So anyway, guys, so the next week we got Fantastic Four, which I'm so excited for, and we'll hopefully finally get the ball rolling, going towards the new story arc for the MCU, which of course is Doctor Doom. So I can't wait to review that next week. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned, and peace out.